Hello, everybody. This is Board Game Chats. I'm Myron.
And I'm Chris. Hello. Welcome, Myron. How are you?
Good, Chris. How you doing today?
We're doing very good. Welcome to the Board Game Chats podcast. Today we've got an interesting guest. We've got Joanna Piekarska from Rebel Studios on with us. And let's get started. Joanna, welcome to the show.
Welcome. Hi, everybody.
Hi. We're so glad that you joined us. We've been trying to get you on the show for a while, and I'm glad that it finally worked out. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Okay. So as you said, I'm Joanna, and I'm from Rebel Studio, which is a Polish board game publisher. We are developing board games such as Meadow, San Francisco, Chronicles of Avel, and so on. And I'm working in this team as a marketing specialist. And I'm from Poland.
And you're from Poland.
So for those of us who are geographically challenged, where is Poland?
Good question,
Poland
Myron.
is in Europe. It's between Germany and Ukraine, which might be now easily located.
Right.
So it's like Center Europe.
Yes.
I often refer to Warsaw or Krakow or Gdańsk, where I'm right now. So it's like the three most known cities in Poland.
Oh, yeah, okay. Those are the big ones. Cool. I always think of Poland as Eastern Europe. Would you say that's accurate? Or you call it Central?
Yeah.
Central/Eastern.
That's right.
Okay.
We like to say Central because it's like, more like...
It depends on the context, right?
We're in the middle of the world. We're in the middle of Europe. I like
it. Right.
Yeah. We like being in the center. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, we wanted to have you on the show because I think you and I had talked originally online, and you sent me a copy of Chronicles of Avel, and that was absolutely a fantastic game. It is an absolutely fantastic game.
Yes.
I loved it. I've played it with many, many people and showed lots of people. And first chance I had, I was like, Myron, we're playing this game. And we played it. And Myron loved it. And his wife loved it. And my wife loved it. And we were like, we have to see if we can get someone from Rebel onto the show and talk to them about Chronicles of Avel. And of course, you've got lots of games that you are, quite good. I think most people know Rebel Studios through Meadow. Meadow is a hugely successful game. It's one that I haven't played. I don't think. Have you played it, Myron? I don't think you have. But
no.
You have to catch up.
Yeah, we have to catch up. There's an expansion now and everything, which we'll get to. We'll talk about Meadow and we'll talk about Chronicles. But Meadow is a very very popular game and beautiful. And I loved Chronicles of Avel so much. I think of it as sort of a family game, a lightweight, light to medium weight cooperative adventure game. Is what I would describe it as. Would you say that's true, Joanna?
Yeah, I would say it's a perfect description.
Yeah.
Because we have to highlight it's a cooperation of course, and it's like family game, not only children game. And I think a lot of adults can also have a lot of fun playing it. So I think it's a perfect description.
Yeah,
great.
I mean, I think like a 12-year-old. So I had a lot of fun. Like literally, like in our gaming group. Like, I'm like the canary. It was like, all right, okay. This might be the dopest game in the universe. Let's try it on Myron.
Let's try it on Myron. Let's play with Myron. If he likes it, let's play.
From like a nap or something, and then like they leave me to the chair with like fruit and berries, and then I try the game, and like. The Chronicles of Avel was like I love it. Like we played it. Didn't we play like multiple times?
Yeah, I think
like
we did.
2 days.
Yeah,
which is super rare for me.
Yeah, and it's a new. I mean, we should talk. We should sort of talk about Chronicles in a bit, but it's a game that came out recently. It's a new game to most people. I think they're just discovering it in their stores, probably in the last 6 months, depending on how quickly their local stores get them. It came out last year. At least that's what Board Game Geek says. So it was a 2021 game. I would describe it as my favorite game of the year that I played. Now, I didn't play all of the games or even most of the games that came out in 2021. I don't know anybody who has.
That's impossible.
Impossible. Yeah. I will say that I probably didn't play very many, but of the ones that I played, by far, Chronicles of Avel was amazing. It blew me away. There's so much about it that I love, and I'll talk about more. But first, I want to hear about you, Joanna. Why don't you tell us, how did you get started into board gaming?
Okay, so I started, I think, like most of people, just playing with my family. It was like, playing Monopoly and other stuff, doing Christmas, doing like some family events or something like this. We started playing card games with our grandparents because they were like, they know the games, they learned the card
Right.
games to us. And then we started to getting more and more. Well, I was the one that started to get my family more and more board games. I don't know. I was just drawn into it, and it was like, okay, I can we can like come up with some boring, not interesting present for the whole, like every part of the family, or you can buy one big present like a board game. It's a perfect activity because you can open it during Christmas and then play, and everybody's having fun, have a lot of time. You have this a little time during from Christmas to New Year Eve that you can like spend playing the game, and it was a great idea, I think, and it's like started my my adventure to the board game world. And then
How old were you
my
then?
boyfriend.
How old were
Oh,
you
I
then
think
when you were doing that?
it might be 10 or something. I
Oh,
don't know, maybe
really? Yeah.
12. And then
Yeah.
going like, of course, then I got more money because I was, parents were
Older.
giving some money for us. So then I was like saving to buy some nice presents and giving more and more expensive games. But of course, it was like first, it was like Monopoly.
Right.
I don't know, Scrabble. I don't know if you can like right now in the modern board games. I don't think they like even count as board games. Then I
to a lot of
discovered
people, they
casual.
don't.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
like the casual gamer, like
Yeah. Then I rediscovered board games, like modern board game, through my boyfriend because he was playing a lot of Magic the Gathering, and he tried to teach me how to play because one free player always, it's like good to have a player that always will always want to play with you because you love you. So yeah. So he started to teach me how to play, and well, I didn't like it quite because it's like very player versus player. I hate losing, so it was like, and he was better than me, so so it was a disaster. And then we tried to search some different games that will be better for us because we will not fight after playing. So we tried some cooperative games and so on, and then 2-player games. I think first of them was like Jaipur or something like this. So it's like easy, smaller 2-player games that will be not so overwhelming. And then we started to borrow games from a local board game cafe, let's say.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, and that's how it
like
started.
Borrow or like borrow? Because you're like, wait, like let's just call it a cafe. Like,
no, actually,
library? I don't know how yeah.
No, actually, some board game cafes now actually have, or stores even have games that you can check out, like at a library, and that you can take out.
Board game library is a
Yeah.
nice name to it. Yeah.
Yeah. I know in Toronto, Wood for Sheep has one that you can, for some certain system that you can actually take the game home for a week or 2 weeks or whatever. I mean, there's a cost and charge. It's not free, but it gives you a good chance to try out this $60 game for a couple dollars for the week and play it a couple times and say, oh, I really love that. Now I'm going to go and buy it. Or, ooh, I'm so glad I didn't spend that money. I'm not buying that game. Yeah.
And that was our case. We
Yeah.
did exactly like that.
That's
Yeah.
great.
But
And
we didn't bought the games because we was like, we wanted to explore, learn new games and so on and so on, and we didn't want to stop. So my board game library is quite small. Because I love learning new games, so I'm trying to get more and more new games, like not buying them, but like trying to going to pubs or shops
Yes.
or board game cafes that have new games, and then try them here, and then next one.
Right. So
Now-
you would fit into the cult of the new then. Like that's
Yeah,
what we call
that's right.
for gamers that are always excited by the new game, not so much playing the same game 20 or 30 times. It's like, I want to try something new.
Yeah, and that's really it's really helping me in my job because we
Yes.
are like playing a lot of prototypes and new games, so it's like really exciting for me. And of course, I have to like play other things that are in our catalog, but I can discover new games every day. That's perfect.
Right.
Now, there's something that I'm noticing, like, because we're thinking about, like, your journey to being, in marketing worldwide for Rebel Studios. Like, is that liking to go on to the next one? Is that you? Like, you prefer to like try new things and like learn new things, or okay? So like, is that one of the aspects of like how you've like developed your skill set to be here today? Like, is that like, talk about like the different types of things that you've done like professionally? Because I think there may be a relation to like liking a bunch of different things and like how much range a person has to be able to fit into a very special role. Right?
Yeah, that's right. I think that's really interesting question, and I think that's my like liking to exploring new things really got me into marketing and doing like board games because they're exciting at first. Then you can like when you work in a board game designing studio, you get to know new things, and also you have to get new skills, which I love. I have like in my life, I think I started like 1 million hobbies because I like learning new things. So I did everything.
Yeah.
So I did like from, I don't know, DIYing things to art through, I don't know, learning how to be a streamer, or I don't know. And I was like doing it for a month and then going to next and next and next. And yes, I started with, because for my studies, I did urban studies, like urban design. So it's like architecture and so on. I really like that.
Were you planning to be like a city planner or something like that?
Urban planner, yeah.
Okay, cool, awesome.
Like,
yeah, awesome.
Yeah, so I was into urban planning, architecture, social studies, also like how people live in cities, how cities like influence people, and so on. And then I started PhD and in social studies, and I was like, well,
I mean, not for
I'm
nothing,
bored.
not for nothing. Then I started a PhD and got accepted, and I probably, I mean, and it was just too boring. So like,
it sounds like that. It was like really, I was like doing my second year. I was like, I have to start doing something else because I'm not into university, like staying there, and it is not my future I want for myself. So it was like, what can I do? What are my other hobbies and other things that I can invest to maybe start working there? And well, there was a opportunity to buy a board game cafe that was running. So I was like,
Wow.
well, I can try. I never ever like run my own business, so I was like, I can do it. Let's do it. Just let's try. I don't know
Wow,
what
that
can
was
go
just
wrong.
one of your whims was, I think I'm going to buy and start a board game cafe. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
How did it go?
Yeah.
Did it go well?
I'm just crazy.
No, well, okay.
No.
Like, and we can
That's
totally cut
amazing.
this out. Like, but like, I'm gonna mark this. But like, I remember you were talking in the pre-show stuff. Like, well, you know, you think you may have ADHD, and I'm like, yo, you might be right.
Now you understand, yeah?
Well,
So,
I
yeah,
wanted
so-
to like, I wanted to call that out because like I think that you should be given room to talk your shit. Like, yo, you were working on a PhD, so you made it to second year. So you were basically done, and you were running a company, and you had 1,000 hobbies, and. So it takes a very special kind of person to merge a lot of different fields to be able to represent a studio that is doing things that have never been done before every single day.
Yeah. I want to go back to the board game cafe actually. So how did it go? Is it still in operation? Is it Can we visit it when we do
PhD
eventually make
boring.
it to Poland?
Let's come back.
Yeah. I want to know about the board
I
game
think that
cafe.
PhD part is boring, so we can skip that.
Well, I definitely think it's impressive. In the middle of your PhD, you decided to, I'm just going to start a board game cafe.
Well, I don't know if it's impressing or will just get scared and run away, but
But now,
like coming back to board game cafe, I'm still running it, so I'm doing like I have a full-time job and also doing a board game, like running a board game cafe. It's difficult. It's easier because I have amazing staff there, like doing a lot of good work on site, because it's also because I was living in Poznań and doing my studies and so on in Poznań. I also bought and now run a board game cafe in Poznań, and I now live in Gdańsk, which I moved to because of the Rebel Studio job opportunity. So yeah, so I have to also run it like remotely.
Right. So you have staff that
serial entrepreneur.
Yes, exactly. It seems that way. So you have staff that run it for you. Yeah.
Yeah, like they're like
that's normal.
Well, I'm the owner, also like do all the strategy, marketing also, and other stuff like big events, like planning what's going on, buying new games, like trying to get interesting people there and so on. And they're like doing everyday business to like, just
customer service. Yeah.
Yes, customer service, but also doing a lot of nice things like coming up with ideas, like making some smaller events, like doing a board game league or something like this. So it's
nice.
Yeah, I think
can you give it a plug? Can you tell us the name and the city where it is, and you have a website for it, or?
Yeah, we have it's Gosu, which is.
Want to spell that?
If
you're not sure you can spell it?
Spell in English. It's GOSU. Yes, GOSU. So it's like, and it's in Poznań, in Poland. So it's like the fourth biggest city in Poland. And we have a Facebook page, also website. Of course, it is in Polish, so it might be difficult to read.
No, absolutely. But hopefully we have some listeners in Poland that can go and visit it. And, I'm sure we have lots of listeners who, speak and read Polish too. So hopefully they can track it down. Maybe we'll get that URL from you after the show, and we'll put it in the notes. And Yeah, that would be interesting to see. I think that's extremely impressive. I totally see that as a cool thing. So at some point after starting the board game cafe and after finishing your PhD, you decide to start working at Rebel Studios. How did that come about? And can you also tell us your role? Okay, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Yep.
Yeah, so I didn't finish my PhD because I ran away after 2 years.
Okay.
I'm really good at starting things. Really good at starting things. Worst at I'm the worst like finishing them. So starting PhD easy. Finishing it not so much. So
that's fine.
But after
that's that ADHD life right there.
Yeah, so I think that when I was like, because I was like I was running a board game cafe for I think 2 years. Yes, because I started on the first year. So I started doing my PhD and also running a board game cafe. And then after 2 years, so 2 years after I get into the board game industry, let's say, and 2 years into my PhD, I decided that doing my PhD is not my future. So
Your passion,
I decided, my passion and so on. And then out of nowhere, there was a job opportunity at Rebel Studios. And I think it's like, it's like a funny story when they really rarely do like external, how do you say it?
Like recruiting?
Oh, yes. Recruiting.
Yeah, like internal. Yes.
Recruiting.
Like hiring.
Recruiting. Yeah, so they do it mostly internal. So it was like, there is a job opportunity in marketing, which I love. You need to have 2 years of experience in board games. I have 2 years of experience in board games. It's in English, like you're like it's worldwide marketing, not only Polish marketing. This is something I always wanted to grow in, like speaking English and doing like outside of Poland marketing other things. And it was like, it's a great way to grow, and I can try. I don't know if maybe they will want me, but we'll have to move then, because it was like an obligation to move to work there. And it was like speaking to my then not a boyfriend, but now a fiance now, and
Congrats.
he said,
"Yeah,
you can try. Like, I will support you." And was like, "Okay, let's do it. It's crazy, but doing a PhD was crazy.
Yes.
Buying a board game cafe was crazy. Why not? Why do not try?" And I'm here now, so
that's
happened.
Fantastic.
And I'm really glad that this happened, because I'm really enjoying my job and really enjoying the board game industry, like the publishing side of it. And I'm really happy I'm here, because I love that speaking with some board game enthusiasts and people who are doing a lot of to board game community is part of my job, because I really love it. So that's great.
That's fantastic. So your role at Rebel Studios is marketing, and marketing particularly outside of Poland or the rest of the world.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So what does that entail? Like, what kinds of things are you doing and working on?
So I'm working on all marketing strategies, also social media, also doing things like this. So talking about our board games on podcasts, some videos, like doing a lot of photo shoots, and it depends on me what I'm doing. So it's really nice for me, because I can try new things, and that's also exciting and interesting, because I'm responsible for our communication outside of the company, also inside, like doing inside PR also.
Okay.
But most of the time I try to do my best to just let people hear about our games, and I will do it
Mm-hmm.
in a different ways. And that's
Now,
it.
Very cool.
are you more on the strategy side, or are you more on the sort of like either customer success or like vendor success side, or
Well,
none of
I'm
that stuff and just straight up
I try to do all
community
of this
management?
because our team is really small. Like, I'm only
Mm.
person for all the marketing, so I have to
Joanna,
do
you
all
know
of
it's
this.
not because
So
the team is small. You know that you would do all the things because they're fun and exciting.
that's right. Also, yeah.
Not
I'm
afraid of a
sorry,
challenge,
but
clearly. Clearly not
That's
afraid
right.
of a challenges. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So you are the
What,
marketing department at Rebel Studios.
Yes.
Yes, that's
One
great.
person in the marketing department. Yes.
That's okay.
I
Yeah.
always say, in my team, in my marketing team, which
Yes.
consists of one person, but
Right.
this is our marketing team.
Right. Right. Well, that's the way it is in a small office too, right? As I'm
Yes,
sure
but
they pick your brain about, other parts of the business, and you pick their brains about marketing and that kind of thing. Like, does this look good or that look good? And I'll bet they come to you with questions like, what color should this be? Or, those kinds of things, like the visuals of it.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so Joanna, I want to give you a chance to, because I jumped in before you finished talking about it's like inside, like essentially the answer to that question I asked. So please, from a marketing perspective,
Could you repeat it?
are you?
Because I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah. Are you more on the strategic side? Are you more on the sort of like vendor success side? Now you say you do everything, and I was like, oh wait, blah, blah, blah. But like, like, please.
so for me, I do most of the time I do all of the content creation, and I'm was like more into when I have to decide, because I cannot do everything. When I have to decide, I try to do everything to better connect with audience. So maybe not plan it so well and do the strategy, but just go and be there, talk to people, to show my face also, because I really think that we should like see people beside the board games, because there are like designers, people who do marketing, but also like artists, illustrators, and other people who are like uh, doing games, and I think it's worth like showing them. So I love to do a lot of behind the scenes and so on. So I think, is this answering your question? I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. It
Yeah.
is.
Perfect.
Yeah.
What can you tell us? So, Rebel Studios is, as I understand it, and tell me if I've got this right or wrong. Rebel Studios is a small offshoot of Rebel in Poland or in Europe, and Rebel Studios is kind of the game design wing or section of Rebel, and
Yeah,
Rebel is a much larger company.
that's
And
right.
what how do the two connect, and I guess maybe just tell us a little bit about Rebel. So
Okay.
we're in North America. It's not a company that I was familiar with before, so if you could just give us a quick rundown of how it works and how the
Of
two
course.
companies connect.
Okay, so Rebel is a Polish board game publisher, and in the way that we take games, we localize games. So we take games that are like, I say we because we are part of the same company, but I say, okay, so them. So
Yes.
Rebel is a like they take board games in different languages like French, English, German, whatever, and translate them and publish them to the Polish market. And they are responsible for doing marketing in Poland. Also, Rebel is the biggest online shop and also the biggest distributor for
okay.
board games in Poland. So Rebel doing a lot of this stuff, like big warehouse and like sending a lot of games to the people, also to the companies and so on. And um, and this is the localization part, let's say. And there are like this is around 100 people,
Okay.
and
Wow.
in this big group there is
Hmm.
6 of us, which is Rebel Studio, which are like doing something opposite. Like we design games from the base, and
Right.
then we try to sell the rights outside of Poland to for other publishers to localize it and then translate it to their language and sell them on their market. So we like sell games to German market, to American market, to Canada, to different, very different places all over the world. So we're like doing the opposite thing, but also we can collaborate because they have a lot of experience in marketing. They have big design, like graphic designer team. There is like a whole localization team, so they are really great at translations and other things. So we can also, so we work very closely, and we can like share experiences. We can also like help each other to do all of stuff better, because 6 people and doing games, like it's really a small team, I think, because we have
Right.
2 developers. We have one head of studio, which is he's also in charge of production, so all the factory contacts, like
Mm.
deciding where we'll produce, how, what materials, and all the things. Then we have one person who is a seller, so he's selling the games outside of Poland, like to the companies, to the department, to the distribution units. And then we have a graphic designer who is like helping us with UX design for the games, like doing
Mm.
prototypes, also some instructions, like real rule book layouts and so on. And there's me,
And there's you who's
marketing
helping
person.
promote it all. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So would you say that so you have some in-house developers, and you take games that other companies may have published or other designers, and you publish them as well, and then you also have games that you guys create or your designers create, and you sign them yourself. Is that right? Is that both experiences, or?
Like for our studio is only like we have also we have both. Like we have our in-house designer, which one of them is Przemek Wojtkowiak, the designer of Chronicles of Avel. We
Right.
also like Klemen Skalicki, which is designer of Meadow, is also working really closely with Rebel. So
Okay.
let's say he's a part of Rebel. So there are like in-house designers.
Yep.
Also, we have like Przemek is also doing a job as a developer, because when he's designing, like he's also working on Meadow, San Francisco, and other
Right.
our games. So he is like 2 roles. When
Sure.
we are talking about Chronicles of Avel, he is a designer, but then
Right.
he is a developer. So yeah, that's those 2. And we have like another person who is a developer, like master developer.
Uh-huh.
But we also work with the designer outside of Rebel, which is Reiner Knizia, for example, with San
Right.
Francisco. And right now we are like searching for more opportunities to work from the outside of the company, out like developers. Sorry,
Right.
designers. Yeah.
I just got to go back and just reemphasize what you said. So that was Reiner Knizia. You guys have signed a game called San Francisco, which is it out now or is it coming out now or soon?
It's out in Europe, and right now I think sometimes like some weeks it should be out also worldwide, like in US and Canada.
Awesome. That's exciting news. I'm a big fan of Knizia's games. He was one of the first designers that I started to pay attention to as a designer. So I will definitely be watching for that one.
So it sounds to me like you're working inside like Willy Wonka's like chocolate factory. Like there's like rabbits and like, you know, rainbows and giraffes and like unicorns, and you just get to talk about like I imagine it's like what the Imagineers from Disney do all day. You just you know what I mean? Like you play. I mean, there's a lot of other skills that are involved, but you get to play every day.
That's right, but it's a hard work because you have to remember we don't play games, we play prototypes, which means there are not finished games, and so sometimes it's a nightmare because the game is not, the prototype is still not working. We are like struggling with getting it right, balanced, or so on, and you know, you have to play it like, I play the games that we publish, like most of the plays I have is before the release. So I rarely play the game after, like it's in a final form. So it's like, you know the game from the start, you know how it's developed, and you sometimes started to hate it because you played it so much in so different stages that you don't really know what the rules are right now
because they've changed so much.
Yes.
That's very funny.
I always say it's like the curse of the tester, because it's like, it was like last time when I played, the rule was something like this. Right now, when the game is published, I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm gonna have trouble teaching this.
Yeah, so I sometimes have to be really like, I really, before doing an interview or doing like a presentation on a game or something, I always go to our developers and I say, what's in this game right now? Just tell this, so I don't make up anything or like say that something that was like thrown away from the game and it's no longer here. So just update me on what the game is right now. And I always say like, right now we are working on something, but in a few years, time, weeks, it might change. So
might be completely different. Yes.
Okay. You know, so you're doing the strategy too, and that's awesome.
Sure. I've heard that actually from a lot of my game designer friends. It's kind of like you play it, and then you put it to bed. Like I don't want to play it again for a couple of years, you know, and sometimes you have to, because you have to teach people it. But no, that's very interesting. So I mean, you're doing marketing and, you know, in-house playtesting and all the strategies and all that as well. It's a small office. You would expect that kind of, you know, interaction between all the different members, which is great to hear. I want to talk about Chronicles of Avel. I've already said it was my favorite game of the year, 2021. I'm going to get you to say the designer's name again. His name is Przemek
Wojtkovic.
Wojtkovic. There we go. I think I came pretty good that time. I've heard you say it a few times in our preparation. So,
yeah, but Polish names.
No, I don't know if it's Polish names. It's just me. I'm just bad with certain words and names. Do you have any information about how the game got started or what the original intent was, that kind of thing? Like what
Yeah,
Shemek was trying to do?
Yeah. So when I started my my work in Rebel Studio, I joined when the Meadow was like finalizing, and this next biggest project was the Flag project, because it was a code name. So it was like an idea to do a game for kids playing with parents, like parents playing with kids and so on, and to make an adventure game, dungeon crawling, so a lot of monsters fighting, but in a
Yep.
like fun way. And firstly, it was a competitive game, and it was like capture the flag thing, so that's why the code name Flag, like
Cool.
the quests to do and so on. And then after some development, Przemek and our team, we start to play with children, because it's
Right.
mostly for children, so they're like the biggest audience. And they say it was there was like you get some points when you kill monsters and so on and so on. And like children were not interested in competition. Like they were like, we love killing monsters, we love exploring the land, we love like fighting, do like throwing dice and so on, and they don't care about points. And that was the turning point when we said like, well, maybe it should be a cooperative. I hate that word. So a co-op game.
A co-op game.
A
There
co-op
you
game. Yeah, a co-op game. So yeah, and we changed that, and it's clicked, and like children loved it, like a lot of adults, we loved that. So it was like a big turning point in the development. Also, there was like the game was designed to be attractive to children, not only for children like small people, but also our inner children,
Inner
like
child. There
drawing.
we go.
Yeah, inner child. Yeah.
Yes.
So it's like drawing your character. It's like, you can do some art, but you don't have to do it. You can, but it's
Right.
not, you can play without it, but it's a nice addition.
Yeah.
And some people like, you have the opportunity to do this, so you can try it. If you like it, just do it again.
I'm going to interrupt here. So what happens is when you start a game of Chronicles of Avel, you get sort of a character sheet, and it's either a male adventurer or a female adventurer, which I thought was fantastic. I'm glad that it wasn't just men characters there, that you could play this female character, and your character is kind of sketched out, drawn, and you get to color them in, and you name your character, which actually I have to talk about the naming of the character. Has one of the best systems for naming a character. So the game comes with this very large square sort of astrological sky sort of looking thing, and you roll two different colored dice, custom dice that are used in the game. And where I'm assuming this is how it's worked. This is how we've always played it. You roll the dice onto the sheet, and wherever they land is a symbol, and it'll say, in here you will become, Chris the Lord, the mighty, or something. Yeah, exactly. And that becomes the name of your character. And if you really hate it, you can re-roll. And that page, is this glossy cardstock. Like I said, it looks like the night sky with stars. And one side is all male names, and the other side is all female names. And they're it's kind of like slogans, like the mighty, or the brave, or the courageous, or the silly, or whatever. And I just love that. I think that's fantastic. So you've got this character sheet, you color them in, you give them a name, you give them this sort of really quick descriptor that describes their personality. There's even a crest, like you can draw like a logo for your character, which I just thought was fantastic. And then I'm going to keep going. Sorry. And then you put
Good.
Fast
fantastic job.
Okay, good. And then you put this overlay, this cardboard overlay with some punch outs on it, on top of that character. And you can see your character, and he's kind of got this cutout around him. And on the side, he's got hearts for these big, chunky wooden hearts that tell you the character's health. And he's got a backpack that's kind of cut out. And as you go on in the game, you'll get things like a shield or a helmet or a sword. And those come in the place of cardboard tokens, and they actually fit into your character's player sheet. So you literally, like, as he gets a new sword, you put it on top of your character, and it fits right into this cutout. And you can see your colored in character behind it. And now he's got this magic sword in his hand, or a shield, or part of his face is covered up with a helmet, or he's got magic boots. And the other part that I think is fantastic is the backpack. If you always think about these games like Skyrim, Myron, you play these games and you're always carrying like tons of stuff, like hundreds of your character's carrying hundreds of pounds of metal, and they're carrying them around, and that's a common thing in these games. And I always thought, what noise they must make walking around carrying, 3 swords, an extra shield, a helmet, and a whole other suit of armor in their backpack. Well, in Chronicles of Avel, whatever you get as an object, whether it's a potion or a shield or a coin, it has to fit into that overlay, that cutout overlay of your backpack. And if it doesn't fit in there, you can't carry it. You have to discard something from the game. Did I describe that all exactly right?
I think it's a perfect description.
Yeah. Okay.
And
good.
yeah, that was our idea to also like when you, because you have like the physical space that you have to
Yes.
take into consideration, and also make some decision, because you have to like maybe give up on a sword to get more, to like fit more coins, or so it's like small decisions, but they're like also giving you the you get attached to your character because
Yes.
you drawn it, you name it, then you have like you
Yes.
decided to throw some things away. So I think it's a nice touch to just adding another layer of like the characters, like your character, also customization. I think it's amazing.
Customization.
Also, yeah, also the physicality of the game is also like a really nice touch of it, because there also is like a bag with equipment, and you
That's
have to search into the bag using only your sense of touch. So there's like, I think it's a really nice idea, and I love the Przemek idea about that well, you have like the physical challenge. Maybe it's like, you have to challenge your physical touch, but not in the way for dexterity, but like in the puzzle way or something like this. It's really interesting. I think it's a really fun idea, and I love watching people playing Chronicles of Avel searching in the back and saying, "Oh no, one more second, I'm feeling searching for some specific thing," and then like with whole pride and so on, like putting out, "Oh, I got a sword. No, it's an elixir," and it's like, "Oh no, it was so close."
It's true.
It's just so funny, but I think it's amazing. It's like, it's fun. It's like lightweight, and but also it's like you really need that sword, because the game is difficult to
it is difficult.
Also, I think it's another perfect thing in that game, and it was really a challenge to balance the game. It's a cooperative game. Also, there's a challenge that you have to fight this big monster that's coming in the end, and we tried to do it that you would not win in the first round, like the first when you
Mission
play
accomplished.
first.
Mission accomplished. Yes.
Yes, because you don't have the challenge. Why would you play one more if you win the first time?
Right.
So it's like, so the game can be really hard, really hard. Like we like the developers and people who played a lot of the game, we still like lose.
Yeah.
Like on
Yeah.
so yeah, it's really nice, and I really like that it's people say the game is like nice, it's fun, it's light and so on, but it's hard to win, and you try
Yes.
and try and try again. So that's really nice, and also you have to cooperate to win. It's like
Yes.
there
Yeah.
is we try to eliminate the alpha player
Mhm.
thing. And I think it's nice balance that every like every player has its own decisions and can like do whatever he or she wants. But then if you do not cooperate,
Yes.
like really do some things together, you will lose,
Yeah.
because you
Yeah.
cannot win if you don't like switch coins, or like I will do something and then you can do something and I can help you with that, and so on and so on. So I think that's a really nice thing in Chronicles of Avel.
Yeah, I have to you and I have talked about this just briefly before, is I don't think of it as a kids game. I think of it as at best as a family game, because it is quite difficult. And I think it takes a level of strategy that kids, particularly young kids, need some help with to kind of work together. There's a lot of monsters to fight. The combat system is really simple. It's a bunch of custom dice. Your character gets, some sort of standard dice, and as they get more items, they can get different colored dice. And there's, misses, hits, and defense, I think is how I remember it. And there's a lot of monsters to fight, and then there's this big monster, but there's a lot to do in the game. Like, you are constantly having to make these really interesting decisions between, I want to go out and explore the board, I want to build some walls to fortify our defenses, I want to get some more magic items because I need some health, or I need a better weapon or a better shield or something like that, which is going to give me better dice to fight the big monsters. And then of course there's lots of monster fighting, so you really do have to think like together as a team to have a chance to win. So I think it's absolutely a brilliant game. I think the components are so well thought out. I love that sort of tactile, decision making about what you're going to keep and what you're not going to keep. I just think that is fantastic. Yeah, I can't say enough good things about the game. It's really amazing. Chronicles of Avel, if you haven't played it, you really, really should, especially if you like, that sort of adventure game, the Dungeons and Dragons sort of experience. If you have kids of, any age. What is the age on the game? Do you?
I think it's 8 up.
8 and up. Yeah, that sounds right. Sometimes I quibble with publishers about their age. It's like, you can play it younger than that, or no, you should be able to. But 8 seems right.
I think that's a lot of people playing with younger kids because it's a cooperative game, so it's easier to help younger like players. But of course, like kids that are younger can maybe struggle with like the how to say it, like being so concentrated on the game for the like half an hour, because it's a long time. So that's why we put 8 plus.
Right.
I think that 6 plus, it's like fair
it's a little
enough,
hard,
because because like a lot of it's depend on the child, because some children like have 6 years and can, I don't know,
play.
read, play, do things that other children that game cannot. So it's like it depends on the person. But of course you can help the younger. Of course, you can also do not play with children.
Well, that's what I was just going to say, is I played it lots of times, and I haven't played it with any kids yet. I will definitely be showing it to my niece and nephew when the younger one might have a bit of attention problem, but certainly the older one, she will love it, I think. But yeah, I mean, it's such a great game on its own. I highly, highly recommend it. Now, one of the things I saw that you do, that doesn't sound right. One of the things that you do or have done one of the things that you have done for Rebel was a video I saw on the Dice Tower, where you
that's right.
announced there was actually an expansion coming out. Now, you in the video you had announced, the expansion for Meadow, which we'll talk about shortly, and a new expansion for Chronicles of Avel. What can you tell us about that? Are you playtesting it, first of all?
Yeah.
Okay, you are.
Right now.
Yeah.
Right now we are like we finished the development process. So
Okay.
right now we are like finalizing the illustrations, and rule book is already like written, corrected, edited, corrected, and so on and so on. So because it's a long process,
Sure.
because it's easier for us to firstly like wrote in Polish, then translate, and then it's correction and other thing like really writing in a like rule book language because
Right.
it's like a different language. Yes,
it really is.
so
Yeah.
so you have to write it correctly to everybody to understand. So right now we're like showing it to our partners, so from different publishers around the world, to like set up it from different languages, and then it should be available in the beginning of the next year, Q1, Q2, because it's dependent on the production. But yes, so I was testing it, also playtesting it, and it's this expansion is like the answer for all the needs. Like there are a lot of like Chronicles of Avel was like the base game was much more bigger in terms of whole game, and then you have to decide to cut off some parts because the game is too difficult, will last 3.5 hours because a lot of things will happen. Some things do not work together, so you have to decide to
all the cuts
to just not use them. Just put it on the shelf. And also there are a lot of people that like happening after when you publish base game, a lot of people like asking, oh, we wanted another, I don't know, boss to fight, or it will be nice to have something. And then we listened to this, and also Przemek had a lot of new ideas when working on the base game, and most of them are included in the expansion, which is like adding new things to the base game, because you will be playing together with base game and expansion, and it will give you more of this story, because there are like scenarios, a campaign even. It's not legacy, of course, but it's making the game harder. So I think it's also it's hard enough, and we are doing it more
challenge.
But I think it's
that's you have to play 3 times to be able to withstand this size.
Yeah, that's right. So so it's like an answer for players' needs, I think, and I think that it will be also amazing in terms of like the table presence, because we have a lot of 3D figurines, like cardboard figurines. In a base game, there's like 3D carton figurine of the Kurodar, which is the boss,
the beast.
The beast. Yes, the beast. And here we have like Hydra with 3 heads and so on. It's like, yeah, we are like crazy.
That's exciting.
With doing 3D stuff from paper.
Very good.
Yeah, so yeah, it should be also looking so really nice. We work with the same illustrator, so yeah.
When can we expect it? I know that it'll come out in Europe first, in Poland and Europe first, and then roughly what time frames are you looking at for North America?
We are looking right now we are looking into Q1, Q2 of 2023, which I think it will be Q2 in the United States and outside of Europe because of the transportation and so on.
Right.
Of course, if everything goes well, because you will never know when some
the
ship
world
stucks in the canal or something. Like
yes, yes. I was gonna make a
don't even say that. Don't say that. You're just inviting disaster.
No, like we are producing in Poland, so it's easier for us. So we don't have this
Boom. See,
like
That's what's
logistic
up.
from China and other things. But of
Right.
course, finally the games have to be put on the ship to sail to the US, Australia, and so on.
Right.
So some things can happen, or some things can be delayed because of this. But finger crossed, everything will be fine. So I think Q2 it's our goal.
Okay. So in Q3 in North America of 2023. Yeah. Okay.
I think. Yeah.
Okay. Fingers crossed for then.
Based on how things look now, like you know, the disclaimers, right? Like what's understood now is
yes.
No promises. Don't write anybody and complain.
Is going to occur, between now and then.
That's a little
be ready.
That's
when
right.
When it's done, because it's
as
like
we
Santa's
know,
like workshop.
Exactly. As we know, the world can change so much in just a few months. So, yeah. So, but before we let you go, I want to hear about Meadow and the new expansion. It's a game that I've seen a lot, and I mean a lot of pictures of on particularly Instagram, but online. A lot of people are playing this game and liking it. It's one that I really have to try and hunt down and find. I think it's out of stock at my local store, so I'll have to look and see if I can find it. So could you tell us, a little bit about Meadow and, what it is, how it plays and that kind of thing?
Okay, so Meadow is a little bit like heavier than Chronicles of Avel. It's
okay, that's fine.
Yeah. So it's a family plus game. We're like the family plus. So it's for family, but people who might know some games. So if you are into, I don't know, Everdell, Wingspan, Catan or something like this, and you're like searching for more games, I think Meadow might be a nice fit for you. And also it's, well, as you say, it's a Instagram game.
Yes.
Because there is an amazing and I'm just saying this because I love the art, which is created by Carolina Kijak, which is an illustrator, and I think it's really a piece of art because she paints all of the cards and illustrations by hand. And then we scan the illustrations and they're put in a digital form on the cards. So it's I think the easiest way to describe Meadow is like worker placement card collection game. Maybe say it's more like you're into going into nature, collecting your observations. There's a lot of there is a strong theme connected to nature, nature journaling, which is observing and sketching animals and flowers and fauna and flora. It's really relaxing game, but it's also have like this it's also like logic, like you have to really use your brain. And you really have to like fight for the points also, because
strategic. You have to really think strategically to plan your moves and stuff. Cool.
That's right. Yes, because you'll be like playing cards that have certain symbols, and then you have to play another more valuable cards. You have to have those symbols visible on your meadow to play cards. So for example, if you want to play a beautiful bird, you will need a bag because the bird is eating the bag. Or
I see.
or you will need like to have, I don't know, a flower to be able to play some kind of beetle or some kind of bee because he is eating the nectar of the flower, and so
Right.
on and so on. So we are like building some ecosystems, let's say, and also we are collecting views, so like really beautiful landscapes that you seen on your trip. So it's like really relaxing, but also have a strategic side of it. So
Right.
I think it's a really nice mix.
It is
And
a
the
beautiful
expansion
game.
is-
Oh, go ahead. So yeah, talk
and
about the
as
expansion too.
Yeah, so expansion is adding another layer of competition because we are adding a kayaking race. So
Oh,
every
cool.
player will be able to play cards that will move your kayaker marker on the river board.
Mhm.
And what is the most important, there are a lot of sea and water animals like otters, beavers, and
Mm.
other things that can be seen around lakes, sea streams, around like at the seaside, and so on. So we added like a new environment, and of course it's still nature journaling, nature exploration theme, and there are otters. So
Right.
Mhm.
And that expansion is called Meadow Downstream. And again,
That's right.
Is that out now or is it going to be out very soon?
It's going in Essen, so in a week
Okay.
for now.
Okay,
In
then
Europe,
that's the
and
big
then
release.
of course we need
Yeah, so probably at the end of Q1, people here in North America will be able to get their hands on it, I would say.
Yeah, probably
beginning
maybe if everything goes, because right now we have it in our warehouse and it's like sailing and so on.
Right.
So maybe at the end of the year
Oh,
or
okay,
beginning
great.
of the next year. So it depends on the logistics. There is of course Christmas and other things going
Sure.
around, but
Well, you've convinced me.
So-
That was a good sale job. We always do this with, we only record and broadcast the audio, but we always do it with video so we can see each other's faces and smile and make faces at each other. While you were talking about Meadow, for people who can't see us, Myron and I, there we go. Hey, it is. She's holding up the box of Meadow. It's beautiful. That's Is that Downstream or is that the base game?
I'm not
That's
lying
Downstream.
that we have it.
It's actual. They exists.
But anyway, I am prepared. I have socks with otters.
Oh, okay. Supporting the game with your socks. That's a good way to go.
It was not planned.
No.
Really, it wasn't really. But yes, right now all of my office is covered in otters. Stickers with otters, like art with otters. A lot of people like on Instagram all over the world are saying otters, 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 and then you put it on the cover. So
Right.
it's like, if you have to knew one thing about the expansion, it has otters.
It has otters.
Yes.
Very cute, very
Yes.
beautiful looking artwork of otters on the cover. Even is beautiful. I forgot what I was going to say, but that's okay. That was it. It's a beautiful looking game. You've sold me on it. I will be. I'll be picking up the base game for sure, and I'll be looking for the expansion when it comes up as soon as I possibly can.
Meadow,
can you also
now with more otters.
Yeah.
Now available with otters.
with otters? That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
Was while you were talking about Meadow, I took a quick look at Myron. He was doing the exact same thing as me. I'm sure, without talking about it, we were both on BGG looking up pictures of of Meadow and the expansion and their otters, and we were looking at it, just going, "Oh, that looks so beautiful." Yeah, we both love Everdell. We both love Wingspan quite a bit. We play them the four of us with our wives quite a bit. Those particular games.
So Meadow might be a hit. Yeah,
I think Meadow is right up our aisle or our lane, whatever that phrase is. Okay, and one last thing, quickly before we go, can you also tell us about San Francisco, designed by the amazing, very well established and impressive designer Reiner Knizia? I will certainly be trying that one. I have a lot of Knizia games in my collection, but for our listeners, can you tell us anything about that before it comes out, because it's not out yet?
Yeah, so San Francisco is city building game. As you can tell by the title, it's about San Francisco. So you will be replanning the San Francisco, and there is the main mechanics. It's card drafting. So you will in your turn you can either take cards or build cards on your board, which is your city planning board, let's say. And of course we have I forgot how they called. Not trams. What are in the San Francisco? Cable cars. Yeah,
cable cars.
Cars. Yes, we have cable cars. So there's also building some networks, and you get points for doing it. So the person who has the most valued cards in every row, because you have 5 rows on your city board, will then get an advantage token, which will give you points. And it's really a Euro game. There is a theme there, but of course it's a Knizia game, so it's a lot of checking out the other players' boards, what to take, what to leave for them, because there's a lot of even more in Meadow, more strategic decisions, because you have to, when you take cards from the central market, you will also take the contract, and this is the token, but it's also it's the mechanics that will block you for taking more cards, because when you have any tokens, you can only take more cards than you have tokens. So if I have a one contract token, I can only take 2 or more cards in a row. And we have 3 rows, and players are deciding where to put cards. In your turn, you can take cards and put it in one of 3 rows, or decide to take cards. And this make this interesting decisions of, should I take cards now or wait for another round for maybe better cards, but also I giving more cards to my opponents.
Right.
But when they will take those cards, I will have advantage of not having a contract, which gives me more opportunities to take better cards. So it's all about deciding whether you should build or take cards on or add cards, and also you have to be looking at other players' boards, because the points are also for building finalizing rows, so you have to be first, but also trying to do it with the best cards. So it's being first, but not too fast, and taking crap cards,
right,
or worst cards. Yeah, so it's it's funny because it was like, firstly it was themed in ancient Egypt.
Oh, okay.
when
Not
we
a
got
surprise.
the prototype.
Yes.
Not a surprise, yes. And it was like, should we keep it or change it? It was like, okay, let's search for some maybe better theme. And we was like searching. It was a lot of ideas, like we should do like fantasy, or maybe do space theme, or maybe even do like you are doing some artwork or other thing, like collecting thing. No, it was
Interesting.
so different things. And
That's
then
fascinating.
yeah, and then it was like, because we have to search for things that have those lines,
Right.
because there was like, we were building a like network, so
Right.
what can it be, like the cables, or maybe some like rivers or other things. And then we came up with the idea of it being some kind of like connection, like tram connections, maybe some roads.
Yeah.
And then it was like, hey, there's the San Francisco. It has like this really nice districts that are like coming from sea to the mountains, and everything like going, oh, that's a really nice idea. Also, we can like do it in a nice way. So that's, we landed in San Francisco.
Very,
All right,
very
so
cool.
here's a question though, right? So like in the game, is like yes or no, can you make left turns in the game?
Like what?
Can you make left turns in the game in San Francisco? Like
I
is
don't
there any
understand.
mechanic for like the trains moving down the tracks that they have to turn at all?
Do the
Okay, so-
trains turn?
Do the trains turn? Like, it's less complicated, because the cards with cable cars have just the roads in an L shape. So when you put, whichever way you put cards with the tram cable car network, they will connect. So that's why we decided to do it this way. So it was also a challenge to come up with the idea how to draw the cards so that every card can be connected, but
Right.
also have an artwork and like look
That makes
nice,
sense,
and
yeah.
not have like a cross
Right.
in the center. So it was like, yeah, I think it
Well, like-
took us the most time.
Yeah. Well, so the question, because I've been to San Francisco a couple times, and
Okay.
when I think about like the cable cars, and like I think traffic, and so like most of the streets, like you can't make a left turn, and that's the first thing that stands out. And I was like, okay,
That's
all right,
real.
if there's movement down streets and you can make left turns, I don't know.
That's real inside
Well,
baseball there,
it's
Myron.
it's like a top-down view, so and it's difficult to say that which are these where is the left. So
Right, yeah. And then there's like, yeah.
Coming in 2024, the expansion to the award-winning San Francisco, it's San Francisco Left Turns. That'll be fun. There we go, Myron. You've already come up with the concept for the next one.
Now it's 20% less traffic.
There we go. No, that sounds really interesting. I feel like the whole thing sounds really fascinating to me. I feel like we could just do a show where we just talk to you about San Francisco and Reiner Knizia. He's someone that I'm really fascinated with. Did you actually meet him? Like
myself, I didn't meet him in person.
in person, okay.
I will meet him in a week, because we are doing some interviews doing Essen. So this will be my my chance to see him and meet him in person.
I'm so jealous.
Przemek and Andrzej, our developer, will doing a lot of online sessions with him, and also they were like they visited him in his office, and also have like 2 days of like design lab or something like this, when they can have an opportunity to work together to see
Wow.
how he's like designing his games and doing like, so it was amazing for them, and they're like talking about it. For now it was like 2 months ago and they are like still talking about this. I think it's amazing. So I'm really
Wow.
happy and like really looking forward to meet him, because, well, as you said, he's really like known,
Yeah.
of course, but
Yeah.
he's known for his amazing designs. So
Yes. Yeah. I mean, he's
and
incredibly prolific. He has got tons of games out there. A lot of people.
and a lot of prototypes, because
Yeah,
like
I'm sure.
in his office there are like thousands of
Wow.
really like thousands of prototypes, and a lot of like, I think that I don't know how is it working. It's amazing. I think it's like, I think he's like coming up with new ideas every day and developing it, and it's, I don't know how is
Yeah.
even
I'm telling you,
like
see,
possible, but that's amazing.
that's why I'm saying that. Well, y'all working in Santa's workshop over there, like literally building like toys, like I mean,
Yeah.
I was trying to analogy earlier, and you're like, yo, we went and we saw his lab, dude. It's like it was like there was a toy movie that came out recently, um and well, there was like kids, there was like it was basically like it was like mostly like black people, and like I forgot what it was called, but it's like it came out, it was like a musical like Disney or something like that. It came out recently, but they like made toys.
Hmm.
Okay.
And so
I don't know that one.
I just get the imagery of like the toy factory when you talk about that shop.
In that analogy, Reiner Knizia, he would be Santa Claus for me for sure. I'd be pretty giggly and nervous, and hello, Mr. Knizia. So yeah,
That's
enjoy
me in
that.
a week.
In a week. Well, before we go, I always like to ask people,
Jingle Jangle. The movie was named Jingle Jangle.
Jingle Jangle. Okay.
Jingle Jangle.
Jingle Jangle. Yeah. I'll have to look that one up. I've never heard of it. I always like to ask people before we head out, where can people reach you and find out more? And I think one of the answers is you're going to be at Essen. So can you tell us how people can reach you? Give us your website, if you're okay with people reaching out to you, where people can find out more about Meadow, about Chronicles of Avel, and all the other games that San Francisco and the other games that you guys are producing. And, if they can meet you at Essen and all that. So please tell us.
Of course. So easiest way to reach me is to go to our social media like Instagram or Facebook, because I'm the person behind this, and if you write a message, it will be me that will get a message. So
awesome.
That's the easiest way, like if you cannot go to Essen.
Right.
so this is the easiest way to And then of course, yes, we have a website. We are also, if you write on our BGG, like on our any of our games BGG, like this part with forum part.
Yep.
On BGG, I'm also responsible for answering the questions,
sure,
messages, and so on. So you can also find me there.
Okay.
I will there as Asha Rebel. So it's
Sorry, what was that?
Asia. It's like Asia. You write it like Asia, but in Polish it's Asha.
Oh,
but
okay.
I will have like you'll find me.
Okay.
I write in every thread, and
okay.
I have like 100 replies and so on. So yeah, that's it. And we will be also on Essen next week. So we have our booth in Hall 1, I think it's called that one, or first hall.
Hall 1,
I don't know.
okay.
Hall 1, yeah.
Yep.
So, and we have us, because we didn't mention it, but Rebel is part of Asmodee.
Yes.
So we
Yep.
will have our booth in the Asmodee part, but we have like the separate booth with Meadow and Chronicles of Avel, like we highlighting those two titles, especially Meadow Downstream. And I will be here for most of the time. But of course, I will go on a walk all around the hall. So most of the times on our booth, but also like checking out different booths and also like getting inspired for what other people are doing. But when you come here to our booth, probably I'll be there or something from our team will be there. Oh, they can say, "Oh, I'm looking for Joanna" or something like this, and we can do something. You can also write to me on Instagram, like Rebel Studio, and say,
Yes.
"Hi, Joanna, I want to meet you at your booth," and I will be okay. I will be back in 5 minutes.
Very good.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's very cool. I wish I was going to Essen. Now, I should point out, by the time this airs, Essen will have been over. But
Probably.
yes, but hopefully you'll get a lot of people coming to your
probably,
booth. Yeah.
yeah, I probably will be at GenCon next year, hopefully. So
Right.
maybe there will be opportunity to do it.
Yeah.
Would you mind giving us your accounts on social and your web address? What are your, why don't we start
No
with
problem.
Instagram? Yeah, what is it?
Okay, so Instagram, it's rebelstudio.eu. Like you can search with @rebelstudio.eu.
.eu.
And
Okay.
our website is same, so it's www. I don't know how you say www.
Yep, that's right.
Okay, .rebelstudio.eu.
Okay. And is that studio
we are
or
us-
studios? Is it studio or
Studio.
studios? Studio. Okay.
Studio.
Rebelstudio.eu.
You, that's right.
Right.
And we are as Rebel Studio both at Facebook and on YouTube. So when you search Rebel Studio, you'll probably find us somewhere. My face will probably pop up when you search. You cannot see my face. That's difficult. So you can go to the Dice Tower video.
Yes,
and
yes.
see my face.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you for coming on the show. Thank you for sharing so much detail about it. I feel like, again, like we could just talk about, you know, I still don't feel like we've sold people on Chronicles of Avel enough. Like, it's such a wonderful game. I feel like we could just talk about that. Maybe we'll have to buy Meadows and play it to death, and then have you come back on in 6 months or whatever when we get our hands on the expansion and have played that a little bit. So thank you so much for coming on the show. It's been a real pleasure.
Thank you so much for the invitation. It was a pleasure meeting you and being you and like talking about our games. It's always a pleasure.
Thanks for listening to Board Game Chats with Chris and Myron. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast, check out their website at boardgamechats.com, or drop them an email at boardgamechats@gmail.com. You can also find Board Game Chats on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.